Course 1, Lesson 79. We're doing geometry here. Area of a triangle. Hopefully a little bit review here for us today, but a reminder that a triangle area can be understood best if we start with the area of a rectangle. What's the formula, or what do we need to multiply to get area of a rectangle? Basically, how do I find what's the square inch, let's say, that fills this space? Base, well, actually, rewind, length times width, right? We multiply the length times the width. So if this was 5 and this was 7, area would be 35. Length times width. We could also think of this as the base. B for base, and H for height, if we wanted to, right? Because height you think going up from the ground, and base you think the ground. Okay, so instead of length and width, we can think of them as base and height, and those are the letters we usually use when we start using triangle area. Now notice how there's a triangle that's exactly half the size of any rectangle. Change our color to really think about this. The rectangle, if cut diagonally, is just a triangle. And it's exactly two triangles fit together Tetris style, right? So if I just look, not at this one, but this, and I want to know area of just this, then I could just take that 7 times 5 and just divide it by 2. Let's call it base times height divided by 2, because it's triangles, equals the area of a triangle. Why don't you pause the video, grab your notes for math, lesson 79. You can even write the title if you'd like. And write this formula, super important to remember for your test, right here. And if you want to remind yourself of this one too, it wouldn't be a bad thing. Alright, you should be resuming the video after writing in your math notes. Let's clear the screen and try an example. We have a triangle here, a couple triangles actually. Find the area of the triangle at right. So we're wanting this whole triangle, I guess. And it looks a little bit daunting at first. There's a lot going on. I kind of see two triangles, 1, 2 triangles, but I think it wants us to find the area of the whole triangle, right? Not a half or a half. This is all one triangle, isn't it? It's kind of interesting how a big triangle can be cut up into smaller triangles too. Well, we said base times height divided by 2, right, is area of a triangle. There's that formula again. So base is 8 centimeters, right? 8 times, what's the height? You might be confused here. Takes us back to parallelograms a little bit. How height means from the base or the ground, whatever, the bottom, straight up to the highest point, which is the top. So actually that would be following this dotted line here is the height. What's 5? This is, the 5 centimeters is the hypotenuse. It's the slanted diagonal line. That doesn't help us. We want the straight up and down. We want the 4 centimeters. I could also think of it as the height that's perpendicular, the right angle height from the bottom. All right, but what am I forgetting? We only want that divided by 2. You could also show that like this, because multiplying by a half is the same as dividing a whole quantity by 2. So you can actually multiply 1/2 times 8 times 4, and you'll get the same thing as if you do 32 divided by 2. In each case, doesn't matter, whatever way you like thinking of it, you end up with 16 centimeters, but we're looking for area. So it's square centimeters. You can show it with a little 2 instead of having to write square centimeters. you can just show squared with a small, like exponent looking 2 right there. Good? You can always rewind or replay this later. Let's see what else Lesson 79 has for us. This is a little bit more traditional triangle that you might like better. A little easier to take this one. It's just a single triangle. There's nothing else there. Notice we've got marked for us what the 90-degree angle is. This is obviously the base, but we use this as the height. This was the base. Why is this the height, you think? And not this? Because it's 90 degrees up. It's straight up from the other one, and this one is at a 45-degree angle. We don't want that. Okay, so it's 4 times what? 3 times a half. Let's look at it that way this time. 1/2 base times the height is another way to think of the area of a triangle formula. So 12 divided by 2, or 1/2 times 12 is 6. This time we were measuring in meters squared now with area. So pretty much what you have to remember today is 1/2 the base times the height. And you have to remember height is 90 degrees or straight perpendicular from the base, not the diagonal height. So in letter A, what's your height? Obviously base is 10, but what's your height measure in letter A? Answer, 6. Obviously it's also 6 in letter B, not the 10. C and D look a little bit interesting. So why don't you pick one from A or B, the ones I kind of got you started on, and then pick one C or D, and then tell me what the answer is to E. So do 3, please. Thank you so much. Good luck.